It is Tuesday, July the 5th, 2022, and we are glad you joined us for another week. We have three I think they're exciting topics, but I guess that'll you can decide that yourself. But the full gang back here on a Tuesday: Ryan, Matt, Tim, intern Mark, and myself. Remember just to go to 3countthursday.com, subscribe on all podcast platforms, YouTube, and check out our merchandise over at tpublic.com. All right, guys, hope you're doing well, and we're gonna kick it right off. We're going back to the well. We're doing another overrated, underrated this week, and the theme for the topic itself is actually came from you, Matt. So it is Hart family members.
Overrated.
Next. We have to get this done early. Brett's got to get to bed.
Okay. Oh my God. No.
It's tapioca day at the home on Fridays. He wants to get up early and get in line.
Saturday night sponge bath night.
Jesus God. You guys.
Now, when he gets the sponge bath, how much do you think is actually just his own drool versus like actual bath water?
I understand the nurses draw straws to see who has to deal with them each week.
Way out of line. Way out of line.
Get the bucket and the mop. That's so. I better not say anymore.
Oh, you might as well, Mark.
I better not. We're on Patreon. I better not say a word. He won't say another word, Smokey. Don't you worry. He won't say another word. Okay. Smokey, don't you worry. He won't say a word. I said, and if he does, I'm going to sue him. I'll see you back in court. And that's when his attorney stepped in and said, he won't say another word, Mark. Won't say another word.
What is happening? Okay, let's.
Well, Jim, there's people in that trailer park with money. Believe me.
Okay, I believe you. Whatever will get you to shut up. Let's start the overrated, underrated Hart Family Edition with Ryan. Are you okay?
Smokey.
You all right? Okay,
He's upset. He's eating bottle caps.
You gotta unmute.
Muted me. Somebody muted me. I'm doing real good.
I thought
real good.
Good, great.
Yeah. What are we talking about? FTR's rank of all time? Are we done with that?
We're not quite there yet, Ryan. We're working on it.
I just want to fill in the blank.
We'll get there too.
This podcast has jumped the blank.
Gun.
No. Oh my God. Okay. Overrated, underrated. We'll start with. I hate this. I hate this already. Bret Hart.
Oh no.
Ryan.
The guy claims to be the best there is, was, and ever will be. You're absolutely overrated.
All right.
Yeah.
Matt.
Yeah.
That's simple. You did it to yourself, Brett.
So Brett screwed Brett is what you're telling me.
Brett did screw
Exactly
Brett. It's hard to argue that. Dude. The biggest moment in your career is a botched finish. It's a screw job.
Oh.
Overrated.
Damn, Tim. Tim, you are muted.
Poor Tim.
Well, why did you mute me, guy?
I didn't. I tried to unmute. You and Ryan muted yourselves. I can't unmute you when you mute yourselves.
Yep. He's appropriately rated.
Okay. All right.
That's an option.
That's not an option.
I don't think we let Ryan rest on that one last week, so we will.
Okay, then he's underrated.
Okay.
Okay. Nope. You were right the first time.
Okay, then.
Intern Mark.
Well, Brett, why'd you have to go and make yourself so overrated? I think he's a little bit overrated.
You know,
I hate to say it. You know, if Brett was screwed as many times as he claims he was, he would have struck oil by now. I like Brett a lot, though. I really enjoy him. He's a nice man. Remember who I wrestled met?
I'll actually be meeting Brett in like a month.
Ask him.
Charity work.
Oh my God. Where are you meeting him, Tim?
Which nursing home, Tim?
He's doing a meet and greet at a comic store in New Jersey.
Ah,
cool.
Get him some saltwater taff. He can chew on that for a while.
He's
Those
a man,
circus
not a
peanuts are
horse.
too hard.
Good God, Mark! Out of all, I never thought that you would join that parade.
Man, I'm
So,
sad.
Tim,
I like Brett.
What piece of memorabilia are you hoping for Brett to sign?
Mark loves the parade.
So I'm actually getting Marcus's Ultimate Bret Hart signed for him.
Awesome.
And I'll get the 8x10 and the photo with him.
Well, take your own pink paint pen because he never has one.
No.
Prick that he is.
Thanks for the heads up. I appreciate that.
You know, when I met Bowser, I took my own gold pen so he could sign for Shauna and Bowser because he only had black. So I totally understand. I understand your pain, man.
That is such a good Who.
I have no idea who that is.
Can that upgrade the old Who?
Who?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
So visceral.
I'm gonna hit that one.
He sounded like a Sasquatch.
That's an honor, Mark.
Brett's
What in
a
the
sweet
hell
man.
is even that?
What the hell is even that?
I will. You know what? Similar to Ryan's answer. Look, Brett. We know Brett's my favorite wrestler of all time. But again, if you claim yourself to be the best there is, was, and ever will be, I'm not even 100% sure he's the best in his own line of siblings. So,
are you fucking kidding?
I will go with Ryan.
We're in trouble.
I will go with Ryan. Then we go to
no hope for you, Brett. If your biggest bootlicker doesn't even have your back on this podcast.
He's turned on you.
Well, he is an AEW guy now.
I mean, we heard
Saturday,
it. I didn't shit on
Sunday.
any of the matches from the
I thought that
Forbidden Door.
AEW was a solid show.
A&W is a solid root beer.
So good. It's not as good as Dad's root beer.
It's not, but it's better than Bark's root beer.
Oh, Bark still has bite, but
I'd rather
Dad's
lick bark than drink barks. Let's go to overrated, underrated Owen Hart. Intern Mark.
oh, he's Owen Hart 100% underrated with a capital U.
All right, Tim.
Overrated. I can't think of I don't want to speak ill of the dead. That's not my place. But here we go.
If it gets back to him, you'll be haunted.
I haven't seen a wrestler's history more romanticized than Owen Hart's. Name me one memorable Owen match that doesn't involve Bret Hart. I'll wait. One. Just
High
name it.
energy with Coco. Oh, wait.
Literally his two best matches are involving Bret Hart.
What about him against as the Blue Blazer against Ted DiBiase?
When?
88.
Okay, cool. When wrestling didn't exist.
It was 88, and it was at Saturday night's main event.
There you go.
Nobody watches. There are more people that watch the Saturday Night Main Event house shows they're putting on right now than actually went back and watched Saturday Night's Main Event.
Now you just pissed off our one patron. Thanks a lot, Tim.
Now he's upset.
Yeah, he's had plenty of memorable matches. He had that one against The Godfather.
That was
yeah, he did. That's so good.
Now the ratings are really going to drop. Matt.
It's a death joke, guys. Shut up. Get back here, Jim. You don't get to leave.
I don't get to leave for that.
Hotel California, baby.
Jim decided to drop out for that one.
Oh my God!
Oh,
wow!
I didn't say.
Mark,
you
you
could say
already
that.
knowing it tonight.
Yeah, never mind. You know what?
Oh,
Matt.
Smokey. Come
Mark,
on.
what did you say about our ratings? That they were going to fall?
I say they're going to fall.
Is this
There's
happening?
going to be a sharp drop in the ratings. Come on now.
We're not recording this just for our one patron, right? This actually goes out in the podcast feed.
What are you
Owen
talking
Hart's
about, Jim?
overrated.
There you go, Matt.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree just because of the pedestal that he's been placed upon and for a reason that I understand.
Right.
But it's not one that I can necessarily agree with just because I think he might have been a great wrestler if he was allowed to continue that career. It was cut short for sure, but I don't think he had established himself as the great wrestler that everyone says that he is or was.
All right, Ryan.
Or ever will be.
Well, here's a black part. Remember the time he kicked your leg out from under your leg? When
I
you
do
said
remember that.
Remember that?
Ryan.
Yeah, if this was like a school project, I would mark it as an I, as an incomplete, because it was obviously we don't know what he could have done. Brett, we got everything Brett can give us, and then some.
No, well, I mean that was cut short
we
too.
really
Thanks,
never
Bill
have.
Goldberg.
It wasn't cut short like Owen cut short.
Sting's wrestling into his 60s. If Goldberg doesn't knock Brett's brain out of his skull.
And I said it wasn't cut short like Owen's cut short.
Well, yeah.
You can't fucking compare the two.
Well, no.
Brett's still enjoying gravy from a straw.
He loves those Canadian Thanksgivings.
Another Jones soda.
My God.
But to Tim's point, Owen Hart is the Nirvana of professional wrestling. That if you look and Nirvana was able to continue, we would have been like, oh, Nirvana's washed up and yada yada, and they jumped the shark. We don't know that could have been with Owen because he fell from the sky. But yeah, he really is. He's the Kurt Cobain of. I mean, kill himself, but did he?
Do you think Owen's fallen from grace? Is that what you said?
And if you'd let me go back in time and be there, I could tell you for sure if he did it.
right.
I would have loved to have been there. But yeah, I think he's overrated. I think we put him on such a high pedestal because of such a freak, crazy accident that happened, and probably rightfully so. But that doesn't mean he's not overrated.
I'm gonna go partially because he was underutilized by WWF. I say underrated. I don't think we ever actually saw the peak of what Owen Hart was or could have been. And then of course with the career cut short. So yeah, I argue underrated for Owen Hart.
Jim, do you understand the gravity of that statement?
Nope.
Overrated, underrated. Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Ryan.
Don't care.
Nope, we gotta give one. You can't put him.
Jim the Anvil Neidhart has to be the most overrated of any of the Harts.
All right, Matt.
Wow, the most overrated.
Absolutely. What was it? Fucking pair of suspenders and a fucking goatee. Fuck Jim Anvil Neidhart.
I mean,
Also the Who.
I had him listed as overrated when we put this together. I guess Ryan might be right. I hadn't really ranked them in terms of their overratedness, but I do have him listed as overrated.
All right, Tim.
Yeah, he's overrated as AF, dude.
All right, Mark.
Who the heck's that?
Who?
I'm going to go against the wind. I'm going to say he's underrated because that man had world records in the shot put. You know,
Underrated shot putist.
What does that have to do with wrestling?
Well, not a whole lot. Now you mentioned it. Maybe.
I mean, if he would have still been around when Marco Stunt came into the business and he could have shot putted that guy into the seventh row, then maybe they could have combined the two.
No, I think Jim. I think if he had more of a chance, Jim Neidhart, that is not you, Big Jim.
Thank you.
Then again, maybe if you had more of a chance to break out on your own rather than being stuck in a tag team as a tag team wrestler. I guess they did give him a little bit of a chance, but no, I still think he's a little underrated. Just a little.
Underrated. No,
I'm going to say it's a little bit lower, Bob. A little lower.
All right, perfect. I
love the Card Shark reference.
Yes, it was. That was Bob Eubanks.
How
many people have 100 said Jim the Anvil Neidhart was underrated? 49. Oh, it is lower.
I am
Mark,
gonna
you get the card.
I am gonna go. I guess I'm going to go overrated. I don't know if he's the most overrated because I don't know a lot of people talk about the Anvil. I think he's about where he should be, but I'll say overrated.
The Rhino.
He was foundation of the Hearts, though. I'll tell you that much.
He was.
Somebody had to hoist the opponent for the fucking heart attack.
That's right.
Somebody had to hold a guy.
All right, then we go to the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith.
I have a bad joke.
Uh-oh.
I want to hear it.
Might as well go ahead.
At this point, could it get any worse?
If any Hart member hears this, we're just playing around.
We're
don't
done.
Need any
We
of
are. No, absolutely not. That's
Can you say what you said last, Ryan?
I honestly forget what I said. Something
You're
about
talking
someone
about
has to hold a guy up for a heart attack.
hoisting
their opponent up for a heart attack,
which makes Brett's solo one even more impressive.
Yeah, that wasn't nearly as bad as some of the things that have already been said on this episode.
I mean, Brett ain't dead yet, so I can't go there.
Well, that's true. British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, intern Mark.
Overrated. I liked him in the British Bulldogs. I didn't care for his single run as much.
Okay.
Even in the WCW. I didn't like it. I liked him with the short hair better.
All right. Jesus, we just talked to intern Mark. Tim.
Whew. I'm actually going to say he is underrated.
Okay.
For reasons like people have mentioned before, in the regards to Owen. Bulldog was so underutilized, had opportunities to break out, or had very few opportunities to break out into the main event picture. And I really think he could have been a star once he got rocket strapped.
All right. Matt.
I will say underrated as well, just because I think when you speak of the Hart family members, Davey Boy's not one of the ones that is immediately spoken of as a top guy.
All right. Ryan?
Yeah, I think I'll put him underrated too. I don't recall much of the Bulldogs together, like Mark was saying. But in that era of pro wrestling, he had a definite look that I think Vince McMahon and wrestling fans wanted to see. I remember like his hair was always something that stood out. So he definitely stood out. If anything held him back, I think he was under 6 foot, so probably wasn't tall enough to really get that rocket strapped to him the way some of the other stars of that era did. So if anything held him back, maybe it was his own height, maybe it was his association with Bret Hart. I don't know what held him back.
He was on the wrong side of 6 feet by an inch.
Okay, all right. So
5'11".
All right, that's not. I mean, in that era, that's a small boy with a big body. So I'll say underrated.
5'11", 260 is his build height and weight.
His height prevented him from reaching his full potential.
That's right. I'm gonna go underrated for the British Bulldog. I think we saw flashes of what he could do as a single star, but I think he kind of derailed those himself with some of his personal issues. So we never got to fully see what he could be. So I do think there's some underrated there.
There was also short hair denim jeans Bulldog. I forgot about that Bulldog.
That one.
That was a good one.
That one. That was European champion, right? He won the European title in that run.
Kind of sprinkled in there, maybe. Yeah.
All right, then we go to Natalya Neidhart. Ryan, we'll start with you.
The most underrated performer in the Hart family, Natalya Neidhart. She is absolutely the most underrated.
All right.
I don't give a shit what anybody will argue with me on here. We give her a ton of shit, obviously, on the show. But she hasn't gotten the respect and the credit I believe is due to her. She's a one-time Divas champion, a one-time SmackDown Women's champion, and a one-time Tag Team champion. And that's all she has done. For the woman that has wrestled the most wrestling matches in the WWE for a female, that's a Guinness World Record. Appeared at the most pay-per-views for a female, that's a Guinness World Record. And there was something else she did. But absolutely the most underrated performer on this list.
All right. Matt.
Well, you know, Natty doesn't like to toot her own horn, Smokey, so I'm glad you did.
Also the most wins for a female performer for the
There we
WWE.
go.
Well, yeah, it's hard not to when you've wrestled for 20 fucking years. Underrated. I have long said that Natty is one of, if not the best technical wrestler on the women's wrestling side of the WWE, and that has been true. That still holds true. I think she does a lot for the business. She does a lot to elevate the talent, and we do poke some fun at her, especially for the gimmicks, I should say, because my God, she's had some awful fucking gimmicks.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the other gimmicks that she posted on
gimmicks.
Her gimmicks.
I'll say she's got pretty good gimmicks right now.
I was going to say, her gimmicks are doing all right now for her.
Those aside, I think that she has kind of done so much for the WWE just because of her appreciation, her love for the industry. So it's hard to knock her on that. And, she's certainly on the wrong side of 30. She's now on the wrong side of 40. So that's why I don't think the pushes are going to come the way they should have, but she should have gotten more recognition, more title runs back when she was kind of holding it down for the longest time before we got to the Four Horsewomen, before we got to the Stephanie McMahon creating women's wrestling. Natty was there to kind of carry the torch, and I do think that she was unjustly not given enough of her flowers at that point. So underrated.
All right,
Matt,
Tim.
do you think that era was the peaks of her career?
Tim.
Absolutely underrated.
Yeah. Intern Mark.
I think we're all going to agree on this. I say she's underrated as well. Anybody that can stick around the WWF or WWE for, was it 20 years, 25 years?
Yeah, when did she actually
34?
debut in WWE?
Was it in the 80s?
It could have been.
Jesus.
She's got to be doing something right. I mean, honestly, if they really gave her a chance to shine, I think she'd really.
She signed a contract in 2007, but didn't get on the
main roster debut was April 4th, 2008. Yeah. So
still 20, yeah.
So 14 years and still going. So
hey, Matt says she's the wrong side of 40. The bitch is just 40.
That's still the wrong side.
She's on the wrong side.
40 is the wrong side of 40 for female wrestlers.
All right, that's fair.
She's 182 days into it.
Yeah.
It's actually only like a month into it, but still.
Right.
Today, at time of recording, it was 182 days into the year. Yeah, the absolutely underrated, 100%. And for all of the reasons listed above, I don't need to continue why, but yes, definitely underrated.
Her being built at 5'5" and 135, I do question that a bit, but otherwise,
those numbers sound a bit inflated.
Those numbers need to be inflated.
Those numbers are a few gimmicks short, I think. Actually, is what it is. Tyson Kidd, overrated, underrated. Intern Mark.
I'd say he's. Boy, that's hard to say because his career kind of came up a little short too with injury. I'd probably say, if I had to pick one, I'd say underrated. And I'm sorry if that upsets anyone, but I think he had a lot more to give.
It's all right. Tim?
Underrated.
All right. Matt?
Underrated, especially for his work as a producer. He does a lot in terms of booking the matches properly, especially on the women's side. So I think that in itself, he doesn't like raise his hand, pat himself on the back. And I absolutely loved his tag title reign with Cesaro, and I don't think that one gets talked about enough either. So I would say underrated for sure.
Yeah, really.
He's always there to lift up the girls, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is.
Right.
Yeah, I will say he is underrated as well. I think much like Owen, this is like an incomplete. He busted his muscle pretty hard, and we never really saw what fully can come of Tyson Kidd. So underrated.
Yeah, I'll go underrated as well. Like Matt, thoroughly loved the tag title run with Cesaro. I also think like he really kind of started getting his push in WWE way too late. So it's unfortunate. I think there was a lot more time to shine, and I think if he would have if he would have been a little bit younger and not gotten hurt and been, I mean, in WWE or AEW right now, I think, I mean, he could absolutely shine in either company with kind of how the size shift in the companies has been. So then we go to Harry Smith, overrated, underrated. Ryan.
I don't recall a ton of Harry Smith's work. I know he's still going today. I think in MLW, a promotion I just haven't been able to spend enough time to really watch. I think he spent a little bit of time in WWE, right? D.H. Smith, is that what he went by in
yeah,
WWE?
David Hart Smith, yeah,
something like that. But really kind of rode the coattails of old dad, I feel, a lot. So I'm gonna say he's overrated.
I mean, he's trademarked and is like he's the British Bulldog now, I believe.
I don't fucking know.
I believe he goes as the British Bulldog now. Matt.
Yeah, I would also put him as overrated just because I don't think that he is still in the industry, if not for the name or the family that he's attached to.
All right, Tim.
I think he's a skosh overrated.
Intern Mark.
Well, Jim, I got to say, even with his dad's pedigree, I think he's a little overrated.
All right. Yeah, I would go a little bit over. I don't think there's anything. I got it. I got what he did. I see what he did. Yeah, I don't think there's anything super special about him. That if he's not Davy Boy Smith's kid, I don't think there's anything there to set him apart. There was one more that I
do it.
Teddy
Might as well.
Teddy Hart. Intern Mark.
Boy, what a shame. He's another one I feel like is an incomplete. I'd probably have to give him an underrated.
Okay. And remember, we're speaking about wrestling career only.
Correct.
Tim.
He's overachieved in other areas.
I think he's overrated.
Okay.
I think for the sample size we've gotten of him, people have prognosticated that he's the best of the Harts. And if he could have kept it together. He didn't. He never did. And his attitude is a very big detractor for me. Case in point, completely overrated. He should have never gotten the opportunities that he got beyond what he did.
All right.
Completely outkicked his coverage.
All righty. Matt.
Yeah, kind of similar to Harry Smith. I don't think that he's still in because he's getting multiple chances because of the name that he has. I know we're supposed to separate the out of ring stuff, but you can't really. I mean, because of the squandered opportunities, if you have all this talent and you're not putting it to use, then I would say that you're overrated.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah, this is the greatest case of what could have been on this list. And I've had the privilege to see Teddy Hart work live multiple times. I've never had a bad interaction personally with Teddy Hart. That's not discrediting any of the negative shit that Teddy Hart's done to people or to himself. Personally, like I said, I've just never had. I've never saw a big bad attitude. I've heard about it. I never saw it personally. Man, so much fucking talent. I really think he is the most talented of the group, but he could never put it all together. So Teddy Hart is, I think Teddy Hart's underrated in his own mind, but his actions and his inability to put it all together makes him an overrated talent.
Yeah, I'll kind of agree with you guys. That, even though, we kind of want to attack it from the wrestling only. You can't really ignore the fact that he's derailed his career numerous times, and if it wasn't the fact that he is a Hart, he would have probably been already blackballed from let's be honest, dirty fucking business. It's not even like the wrestling industry is some sort of moral high ground. I mean, the wrestling business is pretty fucking scummy as it is, and you have a guy that should have been blackballed numerous times, but because of who he is, it hasn't happened. So yeah, I'll go overrated on that. And Tim, this one just for you, Bruce Hart.
Shane McMahon.
Oh my God.
The
Holy
best
cow.
in the world. Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon.
All right.
Thank you, Hillbilly.
That closes this out.
But what about Brian Pillman? Did you forget him, or we're not going to do Brian Pillman?
We could do Pillman. I mean, he's not.
Can we do him as a bonus?
We'll do it. All right, we'll do a bonus. We'll go Brian Pillman. Mark, kick us off since you wanted to add.
Oh, I love Pillman. I liked him not so much as the Cincinnati Bengal trunk wearing person, but I thought he was so underrated. He was great on the mic. He was great in the ring. He was such a good heel. Underrated.
All right, Tim.
Underrated, and I'm actually the biggest fan of his Cincinnati Bengal white meat babyface run. The more and more I look at the not loaded weapon,
The Varsity Blondes.
the stupid. Oh my gosh, what was his
The
nickname?
loose cannon.
Loose cannon.
Loose cannon.
The more and more I look at the loose cannon stuff, the more and more I'm just like, I guess I'm more desensitized to it now because now every heel wants to be the loose cannon, Brian Pillman. But even then, still seriously underrated.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I'll do underrated, kind of similar to the others that we've talked about who are gone too soon, except that no one really glorifies Pillman like the other Hart family members that were gone too soon. So for that reason, I would say he's underrated just because he's kind of like a forgotten son of that group, and one that I think could have been a lot more.
All right, Ryan.
I think Brian Pillman is a world champion in today's wrestling landscape.
Yep.
Just so much talent. So great on the stick. Really was. He would bump Natty as the most underrated on my list, I think.
Okay.
If he was included on this original list, I wouldn't have put Natty as the most underrated because it was criminal what happened to Brian Pillman.
Yeah, I'll definitely go underrated. He was so damn good, and looking back on some of that loose cannon stuff is unbefucking believable, and it just sucks that he was hurt, and then of course, that his life ended far too early. So, let's go to this. FTR, of course, at Forbidden Door, retained their ROH World Tag Team titles. They won the IWGP Tag titles. We've seen them win tag titles in AEW, in WWE, and NXT. They are belt collectors everywhere they go. So let's start. I'm gonna attack it two different ways. Where does the FTR rank among tag teams in this generation? This generation isn't really tag team heavy. And I don't know exactly where we want to set up like this generation. I have a hard time, setting that parameter, but like, I don't know.
Are the Dudleys in this generation?
No,
I would say, even though they're active in this generation, I still feel like the Dudleys, the Hardys are from a previous generation. Like if you think of like the early to mid 90s WWF, like there was guys from like the 80s and early 90s that were still wrestling. But when you talked about the new generation, like Hulk Hogan wasn't new generation. He was just
so
there.
Then we're talking tag teams like the Usos, like the New Day, like the Young Bucks, like that generation.
We'll kind of set the line there. Like, yeah.
They're in my Mount Rushmore if that's the case.
For this generation, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'd put them top 5, top 4, sure.
In turn, Mark.
I'd probably put them in my top 2, with New Day possibly being 1 or 2.
Yeah, New Day's probably 1 or 2.
Matt, we know the Usos are number one for you. I mean, it's not,
I would
with a
put
bullet,
the
right?
Usos, I would put the Usos at 3, honestly, but I would put the FTR above them
Okay.
at this point.
I agree.
Tim, how about you?
They're top 4. I don't. That's saying that they're at least in 4, but it's tough to say. But they are so. The crazy part about it is I don't think we've hit their ceiling yet.
Yeah, I think they're still
yep.
ascending, which is wild to think about.
Yep.
And they work.
I mean, have they done
style.
anything that the Young Bucks haven't done currently? Young Bucks are Ring of Honor Tag Team Champs.
I mean, they've got the WWE
I
stuff.
say the Young
Is that
Bucks have
our
never won the
WWE
WWE
stuff?
stuff. Yeah.
But beyond that, I mean, AAA was the Young Bucks as well. So the belts that they're carrying currently, the Young Bucks.
When we're talking, we're saying Mount Rushmore. I mean, are the Mount Rushmore New Day, Usos, Young Bucks, FTR?
I would agree with that.
I would.
That
think
would be
my
that would be
three.
mine. Yeah.
I don't know if I can put the Young Bucks on that.
Okay, who would
Just
be
because
your
of the WWE stuff,
4?
or is it something else?
I think it's.
I mean, I feel
more
like that was
so.
a choice on their part too. Like they've never wanted to go.
For sure.
Don't forget about Generation Me.
Right, but even from the TNA
I have
side,
no
like,
idea who
even
that
if you
is.
There's so many really good tag teams from that era. And while the Young Bucks are really good, I don't necessarily find them my cup of tea, considering that we live in a world in which the Briscoes exist.
That's true too.
Like,
I mean, the Young Bucks would be my 4 in the Mount Rushmore, and the Briscoes are probably right there. And it could be they're making a case for themselves in years to come that they could swap them out.
in that same time frame, though, you've got the Motor City Machine Guns, you've got Beer Money, you've got
Alpha Academy.
I mean, you've got the Alphas, you've got
Street
DIY.
Profits.
Even though I'm not putting either of them on like my top list, but it's. I mean, their FTR is definitely up there in that rarefied air, and I think they keep it together. And they, what I was going to say is they work a style that will lean to them having super long careers, like Rock and Roll Express levels.
Yeah, they don't
of longevity, and
in a time where we see so many people put and again it's choice but like put long-term careers in jeopardy.
Right.
FTR doesn't do that. They are very different for this era of professional wrestling. So
they're very much an Arn and Tully of this generation. Arn and Tully didn't necessarily take the high risks.
So like where and I understand that you know we're talking about them still ascending, but like where do you rank them all time as of now? Because I see like a lot of people, and I understand that we're coming off a fantastic match at Forbidden Door, and they're kind of in this not the steal from like the WWE and Roman Reigns, but kind of this God run right now for FTR. And 2022 has been a hell of a year for them and Dax especially with the matches in the Owen Hart tournament. But like where do you rank them all time? Are they top 25, top 20, top 15, higher? Is that too high? Like where do you, Matt? I'll start with you.
I'm probably comfortable putting them in my top 15, but if someone had them lower or higher, I don't think I would necessarily argue either direction. I think right now that with the history of tag teams and what we saw through different generations, I don't think I would necessarily be ready to put them in top 10, but I think that if I could make a case for them in top 15.
Okay, Tim.
They're top 10 for me.
Wow. Okay.
Because I also have like my top four are top 10 all-time teams.
Okay. Mark.
If I'm going to put them in my top 10, they're probably number 10, which isn't a bad thing. But yeah, I would probably put them at 10 in my top 10 all time.
Okay, Ryan.
Yeah, I could see him in the top 10. I'm just trying to go through a list.
You got the Dudleys.
I think they'll eventually
Hardys.
be in top 10. I just don't
Right.
know that right this second that there's probably some teams that I would cling on to for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah, like
That they would eventually bump out.
I would say
Right.
top
Hardys.
15 probably for sure right now. Like it just
New Day, Rock and Roll, Hart Foundation.
Bushwhackers.
Yeah,
Rougeau
they're not in the
Brothers.
top 10.
the Whackers. Mark, you got the Whackers
the
in your
Whackers
top
in there.
10?
No, not really.
Okay.
Honestly, as the sheep herders, they were pretty darn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
were
they
something else as a
didn't.
sheep
I mean, and
herders.
if you want to
That-
combine that into but yeah,
Man.
they were never. The
Oh.
Bushwhackers are not a top 10. Like, let's say
No,
that.
the sheep herders. Yeah, I could see them in the top 10. Not the bushwhackers though.
Yeah, no.
Whoa.
But
Yeah.
and again, they're still ascending. So right now, I mean, I think they've probably cemented themselves, top 15 for sure, and I definitely want to see, what's still to come for them, and especially in this run, it's this year. Like I said, this year has been fantastic for them. Maybe that's a future topic too. Is our top 10 tag teams or a tag team list or something? But we'll figure that out. Similar to like we did last week with the overrated underrated. I'm once again stealing from the at Straight Shoot on the TikTok. And I created a TikTok because of these.
Did you?
guys. I did.
There it is.
I created a TikTok account.
Have you done any dances yet, Jim?
I have not. I don't plan on ever actually posting any TikToks. I'm not even 100% sure that I know how to do that. But this one they did a series of wrestling fill in the blanks. So I'm stealing this one directly from them. I'm sure you'll hear this topic again on the Tuesday show. But let's start with this one. Blank needs a manager. Ryan, I'll start with you.
I will say that the current WWE superstar Dana Brooke needs a manager to steer her career away from the 24/7 championship back into a viable contender for the women's championship. I think she has a great physique and could pose as a legitimate threat to some of the ladies over there. So Dana Brooke would need a manager to steer her career back to glory.
All right. Matt, Blank needs a manager.
I'll keep it in the women's division, and we talked about her earlier, and I talked about how she was a great technical wrestler, but her mic skills have always been lacking. So I think if you gave Natty a manager, I think that could be a fun storyline. Get someone who can actually rush a promo. Bring back the great Khali for all I care. But I think if she had a manager, that her wrestling style and skill could speak for itself, then similar to what we've seen on the men's side.
All right, Tim, Blank needs a manager.
You could say everything Matt just said and replace Natalia with Shayna Baszler.
Okay.
That was my pick, Tim.
Was it?
It absolutely was.
Needs something to break the glass ceiling.
Yep.
Terribly
She's got all the
something.
skill.
4-tool player, but she just doesn't have the promo work. But if she were able to be herself more, I feel like a manager would allow her to unlock that part of herself and be able to. I don't think she needed like a full-time manager, but definitely something to.
Who do you put with her?
Paul Heyman.
The answer was Stokely Hathaway until he left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now it's got to be Paul Heyman. I mean, that's the de facto answer, right?
I mean, you can bring anybody in. This is clearly totally hypothetical.
But even then, like you think about,
you still would do Paul.
Name your wrestling managers right now. Like,
no, there's not much.
We literally just did.
Dan Lambert. But
I could bring back fucking Ken Shamrock if you want and put her with you as a I don't know.
I mean, we want someone that can cut a good promo.
That's a fair point.
I mean, what's Mr. Bob Backlund doing?
Eating Brussels sprouts raw off the stalk.
And,
like that's when he talks about eating raw Brussels sprouts, I assume that's how he's doing it. He's just
right off the stalk. You get them this Tuesday at Roots.
I'm sure you can. Mark, blank needs a manager.
Yeah, I absolutely was going to say Shayna Baszler, and Paul Heyman would be perfect. And going back to Natty, would it be out of the realm of possibility to put Jimmy Hart with her and have him just come out for TV once a week? I mean, honestly, wouldn't that be something? He would probably do it.
Another person that's good at promos, and who knows when she's coming back. Like, can Bayley manage someone again? Like we've seen her.
That'd be all right.
Cut promos for Sasha in the past.
I need Bayley back on my TV soon. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. Like,
I need her
involved a little bit more.
Because and then too, like if you're doing the manager thing, it's obviously going to be part time. Like not necessarily part time every week, but it's going to be a short time run, and then you could have her turn on whoever she's managing when she's ready to go. So for me, for all of the reasons listed for Natty and for Shayna Baszler, and I'm going to go with the current, as we're recording, SmackDown Women's Champion Ronda Rousey. Because good God, it being just all-time levels of terrible mic work on this run. It's fucking brutal. It fucking brutal. I would, and probably Paul Heyman. It's the thing I said that they shouldn't do is just make her like the female Brock. But at this point, God, and just fucking do it. Just as long as she doesn't have to really talk that much anymore. All right.
To answer that question another way, blank needs a manager. I think a solid answer would have also been Roman Reigns needs the manager, because that has elevated him so much that he still today, I think, needs that manager role in what he's doing.
Yeah, and we kind of saw him, and whether Heyman turning on him to go back with Brock and then going back to Roman, maybe one day, 10, 15 years from now, we'll hear Bruce Pritchard talk about it on a podcast. But
sure.
Part of me wonders if that wasn't like a test to see if Roman in the bloodline could work without Heyman, and they realized that it probably couldn't. Like the Heyman makes that package complete. So that's another great point, Ryan. So all right, next one, we will go with blank should be the next guest on the Broken Skull sessions. Intern Mark.
Was William Regal in there at all yet?
No.
That would be something. Since he's not tied to the WWE, he could really talk about it.
There you go. Tim.
Oh, man. I'm looking through the list so I don't actually say somebody that he's covered. This is surprising. Has not been on the show and totally should be. John Cena.
Yeah, I guess he never has been. That'd be a good one.
Especially now for the 20 years of Cena.
I bet that's going to be one coming up here soon.
I bet they've already got it in the can.
Austin's little Cena thing, on Raw last week, he was at the studio thing. So part of me wonders if that wasn't already done. Matt, blank should be the next guest on the Broken Skull Sessions.
I'm looking through the list here myself just to make sure I don't see him. I don't, but it doesn't make sense. Has Shawn Michaels not been on?
No.
Okay. So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Easy time.
That would be something.
All right. And Ryan.
I didn't have a list to look through, and I didn't care to look one up. I wrote down former WWE timekeeper Mark Yeaton.
Oh,
Maybe on Broken Skull.
That'd be a good one.
Dude,
I wish Mark would do something.
Yeah, me too.
Write a
would-
book,
I would love
anything.
that.
Something. Do a
think-
podcast, anything.
I think Yeaton would be a good Steve Austin show guest, but I don't know if you could get enough out of him for a Broken Skull session.
Okay.
Because to me, those are like main event podcasts.
Yeah.
Sure.
And like with the exception of like Bubba Ray Dudley,
Bubber.
everyone's kind of been like top notch.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell Mark you don't think he's top notch.
I love Mark
Ouch.
Heaton. I think that
He's a nice man.
I think Stone Cold and him talking for 15 minutes about how long they worked on the beer throw during the Attitude Era would be riveting conversation. It's like hearing a bullpen talk about the art of the curveball.
Right.
It would be amazing.
My answer to this one is one that they have not done yet, and that would be good old JR. Like
That would
would
be
be
fun.
really good.
That would be a good one too.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm looking at the list. Like, is the list I'm looking at off? Has Triple H never done it?
He did. Triple H did the
'Cause I feel like
the
he-
Stone Cold podcast that they used to do on the network after Raw. So
Right.
that was like Vince,
Okay.
Triple H,
I guess
Shane
Cena was on that one too.
and Ambrose did it. Brock did it. I'm trying to
Okay,
remember.
so they did like the network Stone Cold.
Yeah, the Undertaker was the first official of the Broken Skull sessions.
Yeah, I'm looking
Right,
to see
that's what I was looking at too. Because I mean,
On the ones that are on the network. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, well, there was those old, the Steve Austin podcast on the WWE Network.
on the WWE Network. Here was his list of guests. He had Vince, Triple H, Paul Heyman, Paige, Edge and Christian, Brock, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Big Show, Mick Foley, AJ Styles, and Dean Ambrose.
Okay,
I
so
thought
there's
there'd be
been a
more.
couple repeaters on the Broken Skull sessions because he did
I'm
one.
looking. He did Big Show twice.
God, how are you gonna
He did
squeeze fucking
Mick
8 hours
Foley.
out
He
of
did
that?
Ric Flair twice.
I'll say Flair's been twice. He did 2 Broken Skull sessions with the Undertaker,
He did one
Yeah.
more round. Yep.
which both of those are fantastic. I've
Hey,
listened.
Tim, are the Woo Wings still on this Tuesday? Still living in your head rent free?
I think
Yep, you
think
want-
they are.
you
I
need
think
it?
they are. Yeah, I'm
I
pretty.
just want no. I don't need it. I'm just.
I mean, I'm pretty sure
I
they
just want to know
are.
if it's still bouncing around your head.
I mean, we'll give it to you in a second.
But yeah, I think we've I think all 5 of the ones
Shoot.
we gave are pretty damn.
Wings! Legendary flavors! World Championship wings! Woo! Woo wings! Yeah! Woo woo!
all right. So
I need you to send me that link so I can put.
I did. It's in the
wings.
chat.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
In the
Okay.
interest of changing my answer because he was technically on the podcast version, I will say The Rock.
That'd be the legit, like the last episode.
That would be.
Oh, really?
That would be a great one.
That's not updated yet.
What?
The list I'm looking at is not updated.
Oh, no.
yet.
I'm saying that if he puts The Rock on, that
Oh.
is the last episode they do.
Yeah.
You cannot
Yeah.
top The Rock.
It doesn't go better than that.
No, like literally, that is the last Broken Skull session.
All right.
It would be the last one I'd want to see. They couldn't do anything better.
They could have like the Rock's 6 or 7 half brothers and sisters on in for an episode.
Yeah.
Yo, I can't wait. I can't wait for season 6 of Young Rock where they really dig into that.
Yeah. That one's on Peacock Premium only. You gotta pay for that. That goes a little deeper.
Peacock Plus.
Peacock Plus. All right, let's go to the next one. Blank will never win a world title, but deserves one. Ryan.
Baron Corbin.
Thank you,
dude. My man. So good. That guy is so goddamn good. Thank you, Ryan, for that. Matt.
Just because I don't know that he'll even hear this, I'll say Ricochet.
Okay. All right. I'm
talking about Big Mac.
Big Mac. I think Big Mac will catch this. And Big Mac, if you do listen to this, I just want you to send me a text or a message that he's still a dick. That way I know if you received it.
This is the test to see if you actually listen. Tuesday episode.
Tim.
5 minutes into the show. Sorry, bud.
Tim, Blank will never win a world title, but deserves one.
Logan Paul. Bold choice, Tim. He's in deep thought.
He is thinking hard.
It's tough.
Ryan, I'm surprised you didn't go with Nicholas on yours, but Corbin was a great answer.
It's tough. Oh man.
He stumped you.
You sure did. Like actually stumped.
Stumped the Tool Man. Not the Tool Man.
Can you go to Mark really quick?
Yeah, we'll go to Mark. Mark, Blank will never win a world title, but deserves one.
And it might be a little early, but I was thinking Ezekiel or Elias.
It's such a good. I love that answer.
I've been so entertained by that. At first, I thought it was terrible, but that grew on me so fast. I just love it.
Yeah, it's been real good. The Elias return was so good.
Oh, so good. Elias was really good too. I liked him.
I loved Elias. Tim, are you still stumped, or you want me to give mine?
Give yours really quick.
I'm actually taking this one directly because I agree with it directly from the TikTok, and it's Xavier Woods. I think he's going to be the only one out of the New Day that doesn't get the world title. He should absolutely get a world title.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, he will not. So Tim, Blank will never win a world title, but deserves one.
God,
man,
it's tough, man. Because I want to pick somebody who's like still going and may still have a shot.
Right. Like, I mean, like when you always talk about guys who never won one but probably deserve to, it's like Piper, Jake the Snake, Mr. Perfect, guys like that. But yeah, this I feel is more a current.
I got it, I think. And I'm going to go WWE, even though I'm pretty sure the real answer is probably on the AEW roster. But I'm going to go with Montez Ford.
I was thinking him too.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm like, especially with the size he's put on recently.
Yo, you ain't kidding.
He's got everything.
He ain't lying.
That you could think of.
I actually think the journey to Montez Ford, the singles champion, now again a world title, maybe not. I believe we actually just saw that 2 days ago, or 3 days ago at Money in the Bank. I actually think we saw the beginnings of that.
Do you consider the NXT Championship a world championship?
I would.
Yeah, for the sake.
I also did, and that's why I didn't put Keith Lee here, because that was my first thought.
Oh, okay. I mean,
but then I count the NXT Championship as a
okay. So do you think Keith Lee? Let's say he is like a, career AEW guy, or if he returns to the WWE, do you think he from this point on is AEW or WWE world champion?
I don't see him in AEW getting that high, unfortunately. And the
That's
WWE
good.
doesn't know what to do with him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The Bear
There's a
Claw,
good-
Keith Lee.
There's a good reason why Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor.
That's a good
Keith
point.
Lee, Ring of Honor World Champion.
That's a real good point.
Is
Yeah.
That
Yep.
would work.
there.
Yep, absolutely.
There it is. That ain't wrong.
All right.
You ain't lying.
And last one here. I think we got everybody for that one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Jim, I like this gimmick. This is a fun gimmick.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to get this one again.
I
But
think next time we do this, we should all bring one.
ooh, I like that idea. I like
Yes.
that idea a lot.
Yes.
So last one. And Ryan, we'll start with you. Blank hasn't aged well with fans.
Sunny.
Oh,
She is also just not aged well. So that this one works
Oh, I mistook that. I just
with
said,
fan. I mean,
didn't
I
read
think
with
it
the
still
fan.
applies.
I just saw hasn't aged well.
Like
Blank
milk.
hasn't aged well with the fans. I am going to say, because of all of the shit that came out about this wrestler, I'm going to say New Jack has not aged well with the fans.
Okay.
I thought people saw New Jack and thought he's kind of a crazy hardcore guy. And then we learned about a bit more about mass transit, some of the crazy shit that he's done. And I think opinions have soured on New Jack. So I feel New Jack
All right.
hasn't aged well.
Matt, Blank hasn't aged well with fans.
Hulk Hogan.
The Hulk
well,
Hogan?
let me tell you something, dude.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think we all
Yeah.
Real good
know
one.
reasons why. So Tim, Blank hasn't aged well with fans. Oh, do we got to go to Mark again?
Did we put Tim to sleep?
No, we don't.
Don't
No, you
take
don't.
mine, Tim.
You
Don't take
have
him.
to. I don't think I'm going to.
I should
Ric
have two.
Flair.
Okay.
Was also on my list. I have an honorable mention then too, if no one names
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
All right.
I have an honorable as well.
All right. Intern Mark, Blank hasn't aged well with fans.
I think everybody would agree beyond the shadow of a doubt that the Superfly Jimmy Snuka had not aged
Okay.
well with fans.
Okay. Good. You didn't take mine. I thought
From-
you might have. You
From
might
Because Tamina, right?
have.
that was all Tamina.
Oh.
Jimmy was like
No one's Mina.
huge in the early '80s, huge,
Yeah.
bigger than Hogan.
All right.
And, Yeah,
yeah. Well, mine
people would
is
kill for that kind of fame.
Oh man, I tried to avoid it. You just wouldn't stop. But mine, Blank has not aged well with fans, is Mayor Glenn Jacobs.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
not
Fuck
flying there.
that guy with a fiery fucking stick, man. Wow. Just
Boy, he
when
talk about
literally
dividing the
like
crowd.
because here's the thing, like I mean Hogan, yeah, like we grew up in the Hogan era, but I feel like and Flair same way, but man, like Attitude Era, like the debut of Kane, like that character, we've watched that from beginning
Press the tip.
from crust to tip, and just watching independent superstars and WWE superstars and AEW wrestlers and pretty much everybody across the board just absolutely calling that guy out for being the absolute piece of fucking human garbage that he is, has been wild. Like I think I tweeted out the other week that the most one of the most disappointing parts about like wrestling Twitter is finding out people you loved as wrestlers are actual pieces of shit. Like, yeah, it's been awful. Matt,
when X-Pac turns on you, that's pretty bad.
right?
You really got
When-
problems.
Right?
When Sean Waltman is the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
That's
have
the
you
problem.
done?
You know, but honestly, look what politics did do. Maybe he was always like that, but obviously being in the political realm really turned that up several
Yeah.
notches.
Yeah.
He may have always been like that. I think he always was a little more political, but maybe
Yeah.
not as outspoken.
And I mean,
There's-
I know
there's
we've
been a few
cracked.
wrestlers whose politics have leaked out that you're like, oh, that's unfortunate, but not to the extent that Glenn Jacobs is.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
pounding
so-
the table of like, look at me, I'm an asshole.
Right.
kind
So
of
like
thing.
during the last ride, I mean, I know we made jokes about thin lines and 9 lines and thin blue lines and all of that with the Undertaker's apparel. Anytime you see him Anytime you see Mark from Texas, but again, he's a 57-year-old dude that's lived in Texas his whole life. I'm not surprised.
Knoxville.
Like
I
right,
mean,
but
it ain't fucking much.
No, but like that's what I'm.
There.
But that's what I mean. I'm like I'm not surprised that Mark from Texas is an old Texas Republican. No, you know what I mean? There's no surprise there. So yeah, there shouldn't be a surprise that Mayor Glenn is conservative, but like to see him go fucking full maggot is
Senate candidate Linda McMahon.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprise there either.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, Ryan. Matt, did you said you had an honorable mention? Was Kane the honorable mention?
Kane was not the honorable mention. I was also kind of thinking Jericho for the same reasons, but my honorable mention was actually Nia Jax, just because she seems to be the only member of that protected family that is not protected.
Yeah.
And since the release has just not even just so much as her like subtly taking shots
Double
at
down.
WWE, but like with the vaccination stuff, and she's just all over the place, like proving to everyone like, yeah, I'm kind of a shitty person, which we kind of do.
Yeah.
That's where she got the vaccination, right in her hole.
Oh wow. Man.
Hey, can I give an honorable mention?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm set.
I think once again everybody would agree the Fabulous Moolah.
Yep.
Completely off down the old can real fast.
Yeah. Yeah, without
She's
question.
always pioneer women's wrestling, and then you realize, wait a minute,
Not so
not
much.
such a good person.
Not so much. All right. Any other honorable mentions?
Locally, add some local flair to this. I would say Ernest Christian hasn't aged well with the fans.
Agreed. Did he ever have fans?
No.
Well, his wife liked him every once in a while. She doesn't tune in anymore.
His wife liked him once, and that was when she said, "I do."
Well, 3 times. They have 2 kids.
That's I will, not I do.
I would.
In my house, it's I guess.
Sure.
I guess.
Okay.
Well, sure. Okay.
I'm not doing anything else. I might as well be doing you.
Might as well.
Family feud's over.
Let's get it over with. Maybe you'll go to bed after this.
Anything else to add, gentlemen?
No.
All right. You know where to follow us. 3countthursday.com, all podcast platforms, YouTube as well. And we will be back live this Thursday night, live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We hope you have a great week. Stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin.